listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. Man, we are here once again. And man, today we have a special guest because we have someone who has a passion for building and designing custom dream homes, and she is doing amazing things. Our guest for today is Julie Laughton, and she has a website you can go to. Is julielaughton.com. Learn about her story, learn about her breaking records and being the number one in custom and design. For this show, I just want to welcome Ms. Julie and say how you doing.
Very good. Thank you for having me, and I'm doing great.
So kind of give us the backstory of how you got into custom design, build, and real estate in general.
Well, I was this kid that could draw anything, right? So I had this passion for architecture and design, and I went to college for architecture and interior design and space planning, and then I got a job in New York City with the 5 top developers of Manhattan. How lucky was I? I had a boss who was buddies with all of these guys, so I worked on every 40-story high-rise built from 85 to 90 in New York City, doing their model apartments and sometimes the lobby and some of their private homes. This is Milstein, Goodstein, Lefbrock, Seckendorf, all the top developers of Manhattan back in the day. So I had this wonderful experience in commercial in New York City. Then, I went to Studio 54 for my first night there, and I had this wonderful life. And then I came to California and decided I need to be in residential. And then I became a licensed contractor. So now I provide a one-stop shop to all my clients, and I'm the only female out there that does this. One-stop shop who provides the architecture, the design, the custom kitchen. So it's kind of been a fun journey.
I mean, fun. I would say that's an understatement. It's been a crazy journey for you because I read some of your stuff, and it's like over 1,000 remodels and custom homes that you've been able to work on. I mean, do you even lose count? I know you have a team with you, but how you manage
I have
that?
a team. I have a team, and if I go back to day one from New York City, that's different. But if I started when I first moved to California with all the homes I was in Beverly Hills and all the designs I did, it's like 1,000. So, but it's funny because I do the design as the architect and the interior designer and the kitchen designer, and then I pull the permit and then I'm the contractor. So I'm 2 me's. So we always have like 7 jobs going on the drafting table and 7 jobs under construction. So I keep track of it because I'm ridiculously organized and I have this process, and since I do the work, it's not hard. I just track it, so this whole thing, but I have a lot of helpers,
And you have to have a lot of responsibility with this massive portfolio that you have. So once again, listen, I'm Refocused Radio, talking to our guest, Julie Laughton, and she has an amazing website. You can check out her amazing work. I was watching your videos, and I'm like, man, this is like legit. This is big time. So my next question is, being in a male-dominated industry, it's no stranger to everyone. It's the world of construction is dominated by men. So you as a woman being able to just really kick butt, legit kick butt in managing all these big clients and all these great works. What is your story being inside this male-dominated industry?
Well, I grew up with a dad that had 2 girls, and my dad was a policeman and a truck driver. And ever since I was young, the boys were afraid of us. And I had 2 uncles that I grew up with that I went, helped me through high school. So respect for men and no fear of being in the man's world. But the thing about knowing how to talk to men, because it really boils down to knowing your shit. Because you're all in the trenches together, and being the boss, I was challenged a lot in the beginning, but my ability to work with men and be straight up with them and not come off as the woman or the chick with boobs. I don't put, it's all business. So I learned that at a young age, how to work with men. And so it was easy to become the boss, but boy, they don't know what hit them when I show up because they can't figure out who's this chick, especially when I was younger. And what does she know? So I had to get them used to it. But the way I behaved really helped make people comfortable too. But I did have a nice upbringing with a lot of men where there was no doubt about how to work with men, so it was a fun childhood.
And speaking of like going back to what you're talking about, how you have a lot of people on your team. I mean, people can go on your website and they can see how, your team, they have certifications. What are some of those certifications and why does that help you stick out with your brand?
Well, the thing is, all my designers are trained like me and all my office girls are trained. But what it is in the construction, we have safety meetings every 30 days and we get certified so that we're following OSHA. We have OSHA regulations we follow and turn in every week. And there's constant training and constant safety meetings. So we're one step ahead of problems by being preventative. We're preventative training for the men. The men have certifications. So there's nobody's going to get injured. Nobody's going to get hurt. And, nothing bad happens when you're preventative. We do a lot of preventative work and a lot of training. So it's good.
And with your portfolio being very extensive with different types of projects, we kind of touched on you doing amazing commercial work, and you also touched on doing residential. Is there any favorite themes that you like doing, or is it whatever the client brings to your plate?
Well, whatever the client brings is fun because I'm taking the dreams out of their head and making it happen. So just that alone's fun. And I'll work with any style and any design. But I have to say one of my favorite clients was Tony Baxter, the Imagineer from Disney. This guy designed the Paris Disneyland. I mean, he designed a lot of the rides, the monumental rides in Disney. So working with him and becoming his go-to girl, 5 or 6 years ago, because we do better work than Disney, was a really rewarding to show him we could do custom things and make his house look 500 years old, English Tudor. I love the craftsman stuff. I love to show off that we can do craftsman stuff. Modern's hard, but it's nothing like vintage craftsman and telling a story because his house is English Tudor. It tells a story. So that was kind of the most rewarding to work with someone of that caliber and have him just love us.
And you have a whole process. So you have, like, I saw on the website, you have this 7 simple steps to building your 5-star custom home. Kind of break down that with the audience, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there where you are that probably want a custom home.
They don't know. I just had to tell a client after he bought his property that we can't build on it because he's in a landslide, and he's been looking at this property for 10 years and he never investigated. So my number one step is don't buy property, don't buy the house until you talk to an architect, talk to a soils engineer, talk to a contractor, talk to the city, the state, whoever has jurisdiction over that property. Find out what's going on with that property and what you're going to run into. What are the surprises before you even buy it? And if you already own your home, great. Then the next step is, get your dreams on paper. And I'm a big stickler about putting everything on paper. Do not start your project without picking everything, even the cabinet knobs. Don't let someone talk you in. Oh, you can pick that after we get started. Don't do that because it adds changes and change orders. And number 3 is the city submittal process, which someone does for you. And number 4 is the bidding. You got to bid everything off the plans. The plans have to be complete. So you complete the bidding before you start the construction. And number 5 is the big day, which is when you start your construction. You should be able to go to Europe and have fun. And you're done as a client. Just watch it be built. There should be no change orders, no shopping, no nothing. It should be the build. And after the build is the final punch list and walk where you get to learn how to use your house, and we touch up the paint for you and make it perfect for you. And then number 7 is love your home. Take care of it. Set up regular maintenance. I can't tell you how many houses I've gone to that they simply didn't do a little caulking and the house flooded, or they didn't change the refrigerator, clean the refrigerator, and the refrigerator flooded their whole kitchen. So there's just lifetime maintenance. Sign up. Have somebody help you with your lifetime maintenance. And that's the 7.
And when people who never had a custom home built for them, all right, and they're listening to this, what's some things that they should have on their checklist when they are working with someone like yourself?
Well, the thing is, if you are going to build a custom home, you start with your dreams by pulling pictures, so you can't tell somebody what you want sometimes verbally. So you need to have pictures, and then you got to hire the right professionals. Usually you need an architect, an interior designer, and then you need the 5 engineers, and then you need your contractors. So that's like 7 people, right off the bat. But you got to work with people that you get along with. And even if you didn't build your custom home, you still have to do maintenance. So it's all part of the deal of wherever you live. It has to be done.
And with your work, I mean, I'm sure you're always on the time clock doing all these amazing projects. But what is too far for you as far as someone where they live, where they have an interest into hiring you to, help them make their vision become reality?
Well, I've worked in New York City recently, or in the last 10 years, but I didn't do the construction, but I'll do the design pretty much anywhere. And then doing the construction, I'm only licensed in the state of California. So I like to seriously stay within a 30-mile radius, because I live in Laguna Beach and Newport. I don't actually live right here, but my clients are all 30 years back for Laguna Beach and Newport Beach, and there's no place else I need to go. All the work is here. It's beautiful. So there's plenty of work. So.
And when you look at everything that you've been able to build with your brand, I mean, it looks like you had like a ton of people on your team to carry this all out. And that's good to know, because I'd be surprised if it wasn't a big team. How do you manage?
You can't do. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, how do you manage your team and still have fun? Because it looks like with all these great luxurious projects you do, that it has to be some fun moments.
Well, yeah, it is fun because, well, first of all, to manage the team, to manage men, it's all business with men. They just want to go to work, go home, and, not have any friggin' drama. So we have rules, and you got to keep the rules in place. So there's a lot of rules, but then we're nice to each other, and then we joke around a little bit. But it's a hard work, but we kind of boost each other's egos and, and kid each other. But I take my guys, they're mostly Hispanic. I take them to Javier's for lunch, and that's a famous Mexican restaurant here. So we go to lunch on holidays and Father's Day. So we always treat them. They get little bonuses. So there's always incentive, and, it's like and then I help them by saying, if you're doing one trade, but you want to learn another trade, let me know. We'll train you. We'll build your career. We'll take you on whatever path you want to go for your life. Because most of my employees will stay with me for life. That's the cool part, because I treat them so well, and we give them, we help them, we educate them, we support them, we lift them up, so they want to stay. It's kind of fun.
And you just hit something there when it comes to education. Someone who lives in your area, if they heard this show and they're like, or they just live in that area and they're like, man, you know what? I want to have a career in this. What is a good way that someone can intern or maybe just learn about this to where maybe one day they can work for you?
Well, you can intern as an interior designer, an architect, or you can be a project manager. So I have 2 companies. The design is the architecture and engineering and interior design. And then I have the construction company, and they're kind of tied together with verbiage, but they're 2 separate companies that work side by side. So there's lots of opportunity for design or project management. But take a project management class. I think you can do them online now, but that's how I encourage young people to get in, is don't kill yourself becoming a carpenter unless you want to. But, project management and construction management is endless opportunity.
I mean, like I said, I was looking throughout the website and it just looks amazing. The work looks really like spot on.
It's high end.
Very luxury. Mm-hmm. It's very luxury. And you mentioned your vision earlier, but when you look back at your business, have you surpassed your expectations, or are you still having a list that you're trying to complete of goals?
I have, I guess I surpassed what I started with, because I started with 1 guy and just me. And now we have 21 guys, and I've quadrupled the money, the amount of work every 5 years. I kind of quadruple. I went from 1 million to 5 million 1 year. And then I went from 10 million to 20 million 1 year, so I'm going for 100 million, and I want to do some commercial work, and I'm getting certified as a woman-owned business finally, because I kind of forgot about that because I was so busy the last 10 years. So I might be doing some more commercial work and some government work. So here we go.
I have to say, man, that's very powerful, and I think that's very inspirational for our listeners to hear. Once again, listen to I Am Refocused Radio, talking to Julie Laughton. You go to her website, julielaughton.com. But touch on that real quick before we let you go. For those who are women entrepreneurs, what are some of the general words of wisdom you would give to a woman out there who started the business? They're legit. They have the paperwork. They're doing everything that, by the book. But maybe they felt like they hit plateau, and they just want to go to that next level. What would you say to that woman?
Well, just kind of list what you're good at and start focusing on maybe a new avenue of what you're good at, and maybe take a little, sprout out another part, or maybe focus on one part and really emphasize that part better. Because as you get to a plateau, that means maybe you're not doing what you're actually good at. So maybe fine tune your focus. And then, because when you do what you love and you're doing what you love effortlessly, then all of a sudden you get more business and people see that. But it's a kind of a weird thing when you're doing what you're good at naturally and you love. So I just always say, kind of self-check, go back and check yourself, like, am I doing exactly what I was meant to be doing? And is there a barrier in my brain that maybe I should be not listening to? Because there are no barriers for us women or men. You can do whatever you want, but you got to get rid of the negative thinking and kind of set a new goal and reset your goals with the 5 year, the 1 year, the 5 year, but really focus on what am I good at and fine tune that. And then that'll lead you down the path.
Once again, listen to I Am Refocused Radio, and you can go to her website. Our guest for today, Julie Laughton, is julielaughton.com. I want to make sure I get this right. Do you have a magazine, a Dream Home magazine? And so
yes,
tell
I
us
do.
a little bit
it's on
about
my
that.
website. My Dream Home magazine is every quarter, and I spotlight a different home and a different client on every quarter, and I talk about what I'm doing. And, I talk about my business, and basically I show off the different projects and kind of talk about, what I did for individual clients. But my podcast, which is on Julie Laughton Living, is where I tell more of my stories, what happened and how I did it and all the fun stories. So I have both.
That's great that you're doing that with the podcast, because, like you said, everyone has a story, and it's very important for us to tell our story. I just had someone recently when she was telling us about being your authentic self and the different levels of authenticity, and how that is crucial for you to expand the life that you live versus just living. Because a lot of people just live, but not everyone.
Oh, they're just doing like robots, and they're not. You got to check yourself and say, wait, what should I be doing? And then you realize, oh my God, I'm doing this because someone else told me to do it. I'm doing this because I think I have to do it. No, you should be doing what you want to do and what you're good at, because then all of a sudden, freedom, boom, and then you excel. It's kind of cool.
I always say, guests like you make it look easy, and I know it's the opposite. So one more words of wisdom from you.
It's tough.
Right?
Life is tough.
One more words of wisdom from you for our audience, those who are struggling, right? Trying to get to that next level, and they want to, but they keep getting their own way. How have you dealt with that in your life?
Well, I had to take a step back. I've gotten good about stepping back and looking at myself. So self-awareness, step back and, take a personalities test, figure out who you really are and what works and doesn't work, but write down all your dreams and goals, write down what works for you, what doesn't, but analyze, who are you? What's your personality type? Who are you? But just really focus on self, kind of yourself and self-observation. And even if you have to meditate and think about it, it'll come, and then this is what I should be doing. But if you just take a moment to actually reflect on what is going on in your head and what you should be doing, it's funny, you slow down enough, and the voice in your head will tell you. It'll come out. But you can do exercises to get it to come out. Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I asked, with the massive success that you have so far with your brand, your business, we all know that well, not all of us. Most of us know that a lot of that is due to having good systems. So how have you been able to learn how to create these systems so that way you're always having clear projections of what you want to accomplish?
Well, I take my business and I write down the standard operating SOP. It's a standard operating procedure, and I have it down to like 1,500 items from day one I meet the client to the day one we're done, and it's a list, and everybody can see it and follow on so they don't get lost. But then I assign people, just like the Army. There's captains, generals, captains, lieutenants. I assign people things, and but I have a process. And the process is the plans. It's kind of the 7 steps, the plans, the submittal, the bidding. It goes in order, but there's a process. And I actually outline everything we do on every single project. And it's the same, of course. It's just one big list, and we have it outlined in detail. It took me years to get it fine-tuned. And then I have a sauna, a program where we all communicate. But it's all about the process. And just like I did this thing 5 years ago to help me know me. I wrote down everything I did every minute of every day for a week, and I analyzed it. And I thought, where am I wasting time? I need to hire someone else to do that for me. So I analyzed every minute of my life, including sleeping, for 1 week. And I took that, and then it helped me compartmentalize things I shouldn't be doing, that I should be delegating, and new hires I should hire. So that whole process, you can go into deep analyzation, and it's fun. And then you see where you're missing the beat and where you need to spend more time here and there and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of fun, but analyze and write it out.
Man, like they said, make a plan, make it plain, because
make a plan.
We can get too caught up into things that doesn't have anything to do with our journey. We just kind of fluff things. Stay out of the drama, right?
And get rid of the drama in your life, even if it's family. Get it out. Oh my God, that's house cleaning. Get the drama out. I have a stress-free life because I have learned to have boundaries, and I have certain people that are not allowed in my life, and I just avoid things, and it's fun. You got to really know yourself and stay away from the toxic. Yeah,
that's good. That's good. Once again, talking to our guest today, Julie Laughton. Go to her website, julielaughton.com. And I think we cover everything. So last thing I'll say is, tell us a little bit about your podcast and how often do you have new episodes?
I have a new episode coming out every week. I record them all at the end of the month with a brand new, fresh topics and what's happening now to me, what's happening in my business, how I got here, personal stories, business stories, but they come out once a week, and there are always new content of what's happening now.
Well, once again, I want to say thank you for taking time talking to I Am Refocused Radio. Make sure y'all go to our website, julielaughton.com, and go to julielaughtonliving.com, and that will show you some other things that she's doing with the podcast that we just mentioned in our recent episodes.
Thanks a million. It was so fun. I love this.